All right, we are doing our vocab for 3-2 part 2, so let's begin. And our first word is the Maya. The Maya are a Mesoamerican civilization. You remember them from the classical period. They were in the classical period and their civilizations fell. They fell around the year 900, but were able to rise again around 1250. So they became a power again in the post-classical era. The Mayans were known for their terrace farming, as we see right here. And they were also known for building a large group of city-states that was, in a way, kind of similar to the city-states that Greece built in our classical era. Not so much like one kingdom, but very powerful city-states. Significant because the Mayans were able to farm. They developed their own written language. They wrote books called codices, which were unfortunately burned by the Spanish later, so we don't know as much about their history. And they're also a big influence in trade networks that existed in the area with other civilizations in the Americas as well. The Olmecs are an early civilization in Mesoamerica. They existed in the classical period. They're one of the first civilizations, and they're really historically significant because they provide a big inspiration for future American civilizations, especially the Mayans. The Olmec had a first version of a calendar, for example, that the Mayans later improved. So the Olmec, not as important for the post-classical era, but important because they were able to inspire the Mayans. I'm going to give you two words at the same time here. Let's go with city kingdoms first. City kingdoms are referring to the Mayans. The Mayan city kingdoms were, again, they were like cities that ran the area around them, a lot like Greek city-states, where the Mayans did not have like one necessarily like kingdom of the Mayans that was a centralized government and a centralized empire. They were more decentralized in that all of the city kingdoms that existed in different areas and sometimes even competed against each other, sometimes had alliances. And these formed and became powerful in the region of southern Mexico and Guatemala. Very technologically advanced, as we talked about with the Mayans, significant because it was the development of civilization in Mesoamerica. The one we're going to look at right now is Tikal, and there's a picture of it right there. So Tikal was one of the largest and most powerful Mayan city kingdoms. Significant for its architecture, its pyramids that were built there, for its advances in the sciences, advances in astronomy, advances in writing with the codices. Also, they had the ball court that existed in Tikal where the game was played that was best called kind of like a mix between, soccer, lacrosse, and basketball, except for losing team could die. But Tikal, very important city kingdom for the Mayans. The Aztecs were one of the largest civilizations that existed in the Americas. They were the largest civilization that existed in North America. The Aztecs are known because they were able to come into the area of Lake Texcoco, which we'll get in a second, and they were able to build their huge capital city, Tenochtitlan. Tenochtitlan was a huge city of boulevards that they were able to build with Chinampas, which I'll give a definition of just a second. And they were able to build these huge pyramids and a triple alliance. They even had aqueducts that brought water in. They were a very powerful civilization. They formed a triple alliance with two other groups, and eventually the Aztecs came to dominate that alliance. So the Aztecs are the most powerful kingdom in Mesoamerica. There were over 12 million people who lived in their kingdom, and they were able to get tribute from other groups that were around them. Now, that was basically taxes from other people who lived around them. They were a very warrior-like civilization that was able to advance and take over more land, and sometimes this cost them hostility and problems with their neighbors. Historically significant for having the largest civilization in North America, 12 million people, many scientific advances, many engineering and architectural advances with aqueducts, pyramids, Chinampas, and more. So let's get to our next word, which is it looks like Mexica. I believe the way you say Mexica. Mexica would be the way I believe you say it. I'm probably mispronouncing that though. Mexica is the original group that the Aztecs were called, or most likely what the Aztecs would have called themselves. Significant because this is the group that started the city of Tenochtitlan in Mesoamerica and built their huge kingdom in Mesoamerica, in the region of Mexico today. And here we see an old map of the Aztec capital, Tenochtitlan. This goes with our next word, Lake Texcoco. Lake Texcoco was actually where the Aztecs built their empire. How did they do it? They built it on the island which was originally here. So the Aztecs started building their capital city on an island because their god said that they would see a snake sitting on a cactus eating a piece of fruit there. And that's what it would look like, and that is on the flag of Mexico today, being that Mexicans are very proud of their Aztec heritage. So Lake Texcoco was the spot where the Aztecs built their civilization on the island. They were able to expand this island through an amazing feat of engineering called Chinampas. So Lake Texcoco is the lake where the Aztecs were able to build their capital. Significant because it was very hard to attack somebody when their capital was on the middle of a lake. How do you get out there without, if they're coming in boats or something, they can easily be attacked by the Aztecs who are living on the island. So this is their capital city, which is our next vocab word, and that would be Tenochtitlan. So Tenochtitlan is the capital city of the Aztecs that was built originally on Lake Texcoco. Now, they only had a small area of land which they eventually used, so what they had to do was they had to make more land, and you're going to see how this process right now with our next vocabulary word, which is called Chinampas. Chinampas is literally making man-made islands on the lake to increase your agriculture. So they took dirt from other areas, they took wood, as we can see here, and then they put a platform in the bottom, and they put stakes, as we can see right through here, and with these stakes all the way down to the ground, beneath where the water was, and they put land here, and they would grow crops on the Chinampas. And what this let them do was, it increased their area of agriculture, or their area of farming. So, we can see here what the Chinampas would look like, as they're able to grow in the middle of a lake. So again, they put these stakes here, they're able to grow here and increase their agriculture. Here you see more pictures of Chinampas all the way through here, which were connected by these streets that were called causeways in the city, and they were able to increase the land area of their island off of Lake Texcoco. So this would be like the original land area of the island. Then they built all these Chinampas, which extended the land and extended how much they were able to grow. So it was still hard to attack the Aztecs on this island, but then they started building Chinampas more and more, and they're able to grow this area of farmland until they start getting farmland on the outside of the island, and they're able to grow their kingdom, which eventually will meet 12 million people. But by having Chinampas and starting their kingdom on Lake Texcoco, they can't be attacked, they're able to farm, they're able to grow, and they're able to become stronger. And this is what really begins the Aztecs as an empire. And this is significant because it will allow them to become the largest empire in North America and one of the biggest empires with the Inca in post-classical America. The Inca were an empire that existed in South America, modern-day Peru, Ecuador, all the way down into Chile. The Inca were an empire that existed in the Andes Mountains. They were known for building amazing road networks that existed all through the mountains. They were known for their stonework and their architecture. They were also known for their terrace farming as well. The Incas were able to do a lot of farming in terraces in their kingdom. For example, here we see Morai, which we'll see in our videos, an area where they were able to farm. in all these different levels here. Some more of their advances there that we can see with their terrace farming. And the Incas were able to build the largest land empire in the Americas, even larger than the Aztecs. And they were able to speak with their language Quechua, and they were able to grow and become one of the strongest empires in the Americas. Significant for also one thing I want to add, and I think this will become our bonus word, so write it down. The word is Quipu, Q-U-I-P-U, and I think we went through this earlier, but the Incas were also known for their communication system, which was called Quipu. We studied this a little bit earlier in the year. The Inca Quipu, as we see here, is a bunch of knots and strings with different colors. Well, this was a communication system. It was definitely a system that was used, that could be used for numbers. Some historians have argued that it could be even kind of a communication or almost a writing system. Basically, there's a series of knots that exist on these strings, and if you know how far spaced they are, it gives you different messages. And every string is also a different color, which tells you a different message. So if you have many different colors, many different knots, and many different strings, these were used as messengers. So this is Inca Quipu, and they would have runners who would run in the mountains, going from place to place, delivering these messages all over the Inca Empire in the Andes. So Quipu will be our bonus word. If that gets picked for our vocab test, it'll be worth 3 points, since I forgot to put it on the packet. Okay, that is the end of part 1. You can now flip to part 2. If you want to stop, you can take a break, but we're going to now start right away on part 2 with the rest of this video and into the next one. So let's start with our first word on part 2, which is the Battle of Talas. The Battle of Talas was a battle that existed between the Abbasid Caliphate and the Tang Dynasty. And it takes place like basically in between the two. Some things that are significant about this battle: it kind of stops the end of the Tang Dynasty expansion and the Abbasid Caliphate meet, so it's kind of like where their borderline becomes. Some significant results is it basically makes sure that Central Asia will become Islamic and Buddhism will then go into decline. Another huge significant factor of this is paper-making technology after this battle will spread from China into the Muslim world. So let's look at our next word, paper-making. Paper-making originally in China, where books were made, and after the Battle of Talas, apparently what happened, according to legend, was that many Chinese paper makers were kidnapped by the Abbasid Dynasty, Abbasid Caliphate, and they were forced to teach the Abbasid Caliphate how to make paper. And after this, the Abbasid Caliphate was then able to make paper, especially in their capital, Baghdad, which became a university center and a book center, as paper was then used and produced to make books, messages, and everything else, including your lovely packets that you have for AP. Yeah, I know. You're probably really happy about paper making. So incredibly significant for advances in education and books, especially in the Abbasid Caliphate during the post-classical era. Now, yes, the Abbasid Caliphate benefited from paper, but China is able to benefit too. So after the Mongols get their huge land empire, what they are able to do is they spread ideas from everyone all over the place, as they have Pax Mongolica and control of the Silk Road. Mathematics and astronomy, how this spreads in the post-classical era. The Muslim world was very good at mathematics and astronomy, and they're able to get their mathematics and astronomy and spread it from Dar al-Islam, or basically the land of Islam, in the post-classical era, and they are able to have that spread into China. So China benefits that they get advances in mathematics and astronomy that basically go on with the Silk Road. So China also gains a little bit. Also in this time period, geography and cartography are able to advance. Now this is because of both. And we're going to use Rashid al-Din here too, and I'll try to do this quickly. Rashid al-Din, who is a scholarly man who had a connection between the Mongol courts, Iran, Abbasid Caliphate, and China, is able to make maps of the world. Maps all the way from a lot of Eurasia is on these maps. This is able to have trade routes that are able to use in the future. Very significant for advancing trade routes, cartography, and seeing what the world was at that time.